questioning the source from which your moral code derives. You think that suffering is part of some great plan that's been devised. I wonder what will it take for you to start opening your eyes? I wonder.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Atheist Experience. I'm Russell Glasser, and with me here today is Don Baker.
Hey, good to be here.
Hi, welcome back. It's been a while since we've done a show together.
Been a while.
Let's see, today is Sunday, August 20th, 2017, and a special hello to all you people who are burned out and lying around in your rooms at the American Atheist Convention and yet somehow can't get enough atheist stuff to watch, and so you're tuning into this. Or more likely, you're listening to the podcast about a week after. So, hi, you guys in the future. We're a live call-in, internet-based atheist TV show broadcasting from Austin, Texas, dedicated to promoting positive atheism and the separation of church and state. You can catch us every Sunday on YouTube or Ustream.tv. The official Atheist Experience website is www.atheist-experience.com. You can provide feedback by commenting on the official show blog, freethoughtblogs.com/AXP. You can email us at tv@atheist-community.org, or you can join the Atheist Experience official discussion group on Facebook. If you enjoy this show, please check out our related podcast, The Non-Prophets, which is airing on the first and third Wednesdays of every month. You can find links at the Atheist Experience website to listen on YouTube or Ustream as well. The next Non-Prophets, this is a month that happens to have 3 Wednesdays in it, so we're taking one extra week of break, and we'll be back with you on September 6th. As always, the cast and crew of the Atheist Experience will be going to dinner after the show at Star of India, 2900 West Anderson Lane, arriving around 6:15 p.m. or so. Anyone's welcome to come along. And let's see, we have one special announcement, two special announcements, which, as we have been announcing for a while, we are going to have a booth at the Austin Pride Festival, which is next weekend. Not next month. Don't listen to Don.
I had it wrong.
Next weekend. Yes.
Saturday, the 26th. Yeah.
Right. Saturday the 26th, we're going to be there, a bunch of people, me, Jen Peoples, Phil Session, and various other people on the cast and crew, who I should all mention by name, but lots of volunteers are still signing up. So come on by the booth and say hi, tell us how much you like us, or tell us how much you don't like us.
Or just come to the event and people watch. It's kind of fun.
Right. That's always a fun event. But you know what's even more fun is the annual ACA Bat Cruise.
Yay!
All right, fine. They're similar. Let's see. The ACA Bat Cruise is going to happen next month in September. Shoot. I don't have the date, but I think it's the 23rd. That seems plausible. Yeah, okay. 23rd, we're going to have a lecture by Mohammed Syed, who is the president of Ex-Muslims of North America. He's going to be talking about the experience of being an ex-Muslim and why it's great for people to become ex.
Works for me.
Right. And after that, we're all going to go out on the river, as we do every year, watch the largest urban bat population in North America all fly out at sunset. The next day, we're going to do a live show, and Mohammed will be the co-host, most likely. And so that's great.
Cool.
And also, as I mention each week, the Atheist Community of Austin is a nonprofit organization that puts on great events like this program and the Bat Cruise, and some of those cost money. Earlier this year, we had a budget shortfall, and we're okay now. But if you feel like showing your appreciation for the show in a specific way, there is always a donate button up there on your screen somewhere if you're watching on YouTube, so you can donate whatever you'd feel like. And if you are not watching on YouTube, you can check out our website where there's also ways to send us stuff. So thanks for that. You guys are great. And now over to Don Baker.
Okay, we have a great audience, don't we?
Yes,
Very
we do.
very loyal group of folks.
Oh, yeah. We have a great live audience,
We have a studio
too.
audience, too.
Gracing us with their presence.
Okay.
Hi, guys.
Well, I've been doing a long series on the failures of Christianity, and today I have the 50th episode, 50th
That's
failure
so many.
topic. Yeah, so many. So many failures, so few gods, yeah. So
How far in advance do you plan these topics? Like, do you just sit and think, oh, I'm on the show tomorrow, I gotta come up with something?
it's usually about a week.
Okay.
And it's a long time of, this topic sounds pretty good, and then start fleshing it out, and then I work in it in earnest on the day before.
Okay.
Let it sit for a while and then tune it up. So that's, today I'm going to talk about You're So Special.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Everybody wants to be special, don't they? So I have talked about what I call the 3 pillars of apologetics. Apologetics is based on lies and deception, logical fallacies, and emotional manipulation. And I have yet to hear an apologetic that doesn't have some combination of those things. And I have talked directly about emotional manipulation in the June 21st, 2015 show, but this particular one is kind of a more narrow focus on that sort of emotional manipulation. And unfortunately, atheism can't compete. By contrast, we don't stroke people's ego and play into vanity or insecurities. We just, we're just here. If you want to come and interact with us, that's great. We don't need to stroke your ego or anything to get you to be part of atheism. So, but Christianity's got a lot of mechanisms. They have the special creation. The whole universe is created just for us. And you're special on the earth. While you live on the earth, you're going to have a special judgment, and you're going to have a special place in heaven because you're special. So according to Christianity, God created the universe, the sun, the earth, for his special creatures, mankind, as described in Genesis 1 and 2. Unfortunately, the real world is a little different thing. There are billions of galaxies, each containing billions of stars, and the actual habitable part of our solar system is less than 1/1000th of the volume of the solar system. So we're talking about a very, very small part of the universe for mankind, and that just doesn't make sense. As far as time goes, humanity has been around a very small fraction of the age of the universe. Not in the way of 1/1000th, but more like hundreds of million, 100 millionth of a fraction there. And the Earth is an unremarkable planet in an unremarkable solar system in an unremarkable galaxy. We're just in amongst the giant mess.
I wouldn't say it's completely unremarkable. I mean, it's really interesting to us.
It's interesting to us. It's got a good mix of stuff.
Yeah. The fact that it has intelligent life at least makes it rare in some way, and that is
possibly rare. Yeah.
Right.
We don't know of other intelligent life out there, although. If you think about it a while, and the combinations are so large that there's just got to be. One can make almost a statistical argument,
Yeah, one can, but I mean, one
Drake's
can't
equation.
be sure.
One can't be sure, right?
Right.
So on the life side, on the evolution side, all of life, including humans, evolved from a common ancestor starting around 4 billion years ago. We are made from much the same stuff as all the other life on the planet, and we have a great difficulty in finding a way in which Homo sapiens are significantly different than other species. We want to define man as tool maker or whatever, and that just doesn't draw the line like we want it to. So we're not that special. So this whole special creation is just wishful thinking, I think, and it flies in the face of reality. Well, are you special on the earth? Well, God is watching over you, according to Christianity, and cares deeply about your actions, especially your sex life as of late. God has a special plan just for you because you're special. Pray to God and he'll give you exactly what you need because you're special and you deserve his favor. And God will help your favorite sports team win and provide the miracle of finding your car keys, those sorts of things. But God can't be bothered to fix starving children, fix the environment, stop wars or plagues or any of that, significant stuff. So of course this just seems like an ego stroke, right?
Well, that's because I'm more special than people who don't have enough
That's right.
to eat.
You're more special. What about judgment after you die? Your specific sect alone.
I mean, actually, along those lines, I'm just thinking every religion that has a concept of a chosen people seems to just happen to believe that they are it. There aren't that many religions that say, there's a chosen people, and it's those guys in the next county over.
Right.
So do whatever they say.
Right. Yeah, and it's almost comical, right? And that even within Christianity, the different sects are convinced the other sects are going to hell, straight to hell, and you get down to it, and it's your church, and it's that guy in the next pew, he's going to hell. I'm going to heaven. And so there's that whole attitude, which is kind of laughable if you really sort of pay attention to it. There's also the idea that you're going to get a special jury with St. Peter and get your life examined and all this stuff, and all of that's because you're great, and even while you're on the earth, you're so special that God is on your side in all manners, and so whatever you judge as justified is almost equivalent to God's judgment. Just whatever you think is what God would decide, and there's definitely that attitude, and there's actually a scientific article on it. And you will, in heaven, you'll get to watch as others are judged and God's will is done, and all. Isn't that great? But all of this is equivalent to saying that God is a figment of your imagination, and he's your invisible friend because he's just a reflection of you and your attitudes and the likeness of you and other people in your faith depends very much on whether they agree with you or not. Finally, a special place in heaven. Supposedly, there's a special place in heaven waiting for you where you will bask in the glory of God. And because of your faith and devotion, you'll have a mansion in heaven while everybody else will live in huts and, stick houses or something, I don't know. But, of course, there's no evidence that you'll live anywhere except where you're buried after you die. You're not going to be living at all. So that's also an ego stroke. So Christianity tries to convince you that you're that you're special, and you're not. I'm sorry, we love you, but you're not that special. This is a manipulation technique called seduction, where the manipulator uses charm, praise, flattery, or overtly supporting others in an appeal to vanity in order to get them to lower their defenses and give their trust and loyalty to him or her.
Yeah, that's not even the fun kind of seduction.
That's right. This is the boring kind, right? So any person or institution that relies on emotional manipulation is up to no good, and honest people and honest institutions have no need for such manipulation. The fact that Christianity uses these techniques is sort of an admission that it's a failure and that it needs it. And this is a failure of Christianity. So that's it.
Thanks, Don.
Sure.
I always thought that one of the major reasons why religions wind up resisting science so much is that they are specifically focused on things that take away their specialness. I mean, Galileo was persecuted because he was basically trying to convince people that there were moons orbiting other celestial bodies,
right,
which would mean that not everything was centered around the Earth. Evolution obviously implies that man isn't a special creation.
Yeah, I think those are big. That's a big part of why religion tends to be anti-science.
Yeah, and when very religious people complain about like global climate change research, one of the things that is bothering them is that, well, God is supposed to be taking care of this planet, and if there are very large forces going on that could make the planet uninhabitable, then God's not doing his job to make everything as nice as possible for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is doubly sad because it's a delusional A, and it is preventing them from doing action and participating in action that would fix the problem.
Right.
Yeah, it's just very, very sad.
Okay.
Let's go on to callers.
Yep.
Okay.
Elyas in Virginia. How are you?
Yes. How are you guys doing?
Welcome to
you're
the
on the
show.
air.
What's up?
Awesome. Not much. Just thought I'd call in. I'm a long-time caller. I've been listening since 2013, and it's actually this show that helped me get out of Mormonism, believe it or not.
Yay!
Congratulations.
I know. It was a rough time. Rough times. Anyway, I want to get on the subject of what I called in about real quick. Take up as less time as possible. After I got out of Mormonism, I still was kind of, I guess you'd say, obsessed with reading ancient texts in the Bible and all this kind of stuff and researching it, just trying to see like if there's anything I can learn from it. Not exactly in a fulfilling manner, but to more so debunk people, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
But in my research, I came across a passage in Revelations chapter 12.
Okay.
It's a paragraph. Is it okay if I read that to you guys?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So it says in Revelation chapter 12, a great sign shall appear in the heaven, a woman clothed in the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in the heavens, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, and the 7 crowns on his head. Its tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth so that it might devour her child in the moment he was born. I'm going to stop it right there.
Yeah, I know all
further.
about that. That happened last week.
Oh, really?
Just kidding. Go on.
Yeah. Well, it's actually going to happen September 23rd,
Oh.
2017, believe it or not.
Right.
Wow, how do you know that?
Well,
That's the date of the Bat Cruise. What do you?
I know. This is where it gets crazy. 'Cause I like to think I'm a skeptical mind, which is why I'm calling you guys. All right, but anyway, in further research, I discovered that September 23rd, 2017, there will be a star alignment with the Virgo constellation and Leo.
I'm
And
waiting for a
Virgo,
punchline right now.
Oh, okay.
I know. It's coming. It's right here. The
So-
constellation Virgo, which represents the Virgin,
Uh-huh.
have Leo aligned with her, along with Mercury.
So Leo's
Mars,
a
Venus.
constellation too, and they kind of move together. Right?
Yeah,
So they don't
they
they don't do this
They move.
crossing thing. They do this moving
Well,
together.
Well, here's the thing, though. At the same time, the sun will be behind her head, and the moon at the constellation's feet. And then at the same time, Jupiter will make a loop in the abdomen section of the constellation, and then go down through her feet.
Okay.
And from my research, now I don't have a PhD or anything. This is just me on the
You
internet,
don't
so I could
say.
just totally be. I know. I sound crazy. I know. Call me crazy because you're supposed to. But this constellation hasn't happened before, as far as we know. Or at least if it did, it would be millions and millions and millions of years ago before man even existed.
And
So
then
the fact that the Bible predicted this alignment has kind of stumped me for a second.
what?
I think you've bent over
Wait.
backwards to try to make sense of this delusional bit of text, and you might be amazed that you can do that, but
Yeah,
but I'm not too.
I mean, you can take anything like Lewis Carroll's poem Jabberwocky, which is full of really ridiculous, nonsensical things. And if you try really hard to map it onto a specific thing, you can find things that appear to match particular details of the text, especially if you're willing to stretch a point very far. And then you put all these things together and you're like, well, that's a big coincidence that all these things match, but it's not. You're just being very creative about how you interpret those passages. Like, it's something people do.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's it. I'm just saying it's something people do. That's how our minds work.
Yeah, I know. It's just the way it lines up given this passage and the star alignment. It's kind of crazy that they were able to piece together this knowing or not knowing.
No. They didn't piece it together.
You did.
You did.
So congratulations.
But I'll tell you what.
I don't know.
The Bat Cruise is happening on September 23rd, and if the world doesn't end or whatever's supposed to happen,
I'm not saying it's going to end.
Okay.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm not I take this as much as I can with a grain of salt. I just find it very intriguing that this passage coincides with this alignment very, very accurately.
So make a more specific prediction. What are you expecting to happen that's out of the ordinary besides a particular pattern of stars?
Well, that's where it goes into the weird section of this.
So then the seven-headed lion or whatever is going to show up in some place?
No, it's a dragon. But
oh yeah, the dragon. Right.
I'm not.
Is that around the time that the Game of Thrones season finale will happen? That could be very significant.
I'm really far behind on that. I haven't been keeping up with that at all.
Yeah.
I know it's awful. But with the whole dragon thing, that's when it gets into the more conspiratorial stuff, and I don't want to bother you guys with that.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is we're doing a show on September 24th, so call back and we'll talk about the amazing dragon lion things that happened.
I definitely will.
And
Sure.
that we're obvious to everybody.
I just want to throw that out there with you guys. Get your opinion. I wasn't expecting you guys to, to be convinced by it. I just thought it'd be interesting.
I mean, the great thing is you don't have to convince us. You can call us back on September 24th and nail us down for what jerks we were.
That's right.
You're right.
Looking forward to that call.
Please.
Total jerk. It's okay. All right. Well, I just thought I'd share that, and I'll get off the line, let you guys.
All right. Thank you, Elyas.
Thanks, man. See ya.
Yep.
Tom in Michigan.
Hello?
Hi.
You mean Tom in Oregon, I think.
Oh, well, I had Michigan right here, but I believe you. Hello, Tom in Oregon.
Represent Oregon, man.
Yeah.
We got all these travelers coming in from all over the place wanting to see the eclipse. We ran out of gas in one little town around here, so I guess we are on the map.
Yeah. A little bit of mania to brighten your day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if
15-mile-long lines of traffic in some places. So
well, thankfully it'll be over soon.
I hear Oregon's normally a pretty nice state. Maybe less now with all the crowds.
Yeah, probably. Hey, I did have some questions. I wanted to talk about it. Your interview preview guy, I told him about talking about atheism as a worldview.
Okay.
I was wondering if I could change that just a little bit.
Okay. Have you called before? You sound really familiar, actually.
I have. It's been a while.
Okay.
I'm a country pastor here in Oregon.
That's
I don't
right.
have any degrees or anything like that. So,
Yep.
but I am interested in atheism. I think its effect has been real negative in the world, and I mean that in the nicest possible way.
No, you don't.
That's true. That's right. I'm just trying to joke a little bit here. But I wanted to ask Don. He says that he's confronting this "you're so special" mentality from Christians.
Mm-hmm.
How big's the universe?
I'm not sure exactly.
It's really big.
How far away is the closest star?
Light years.
Yeah, like 13.8 million, I think.
Beyond the sun, of course.
I'm sorry. The closest star is
So
like 8 light minutes. But then after that,
it's unfathomably
Yeah,
vast.
I stand corrected. The sun is,
Right.
okay. In light of the next closest star, how many planets are there with life out there?
We don't know.
yeah, we don't actually have that good detection to find that out.
We're looking for planets that might be hospitable to life as we know it, which is a bit of a guess. And we found a number of such planets, but they're so far away that we can't know whether it actually has life.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing because the planets have to be orderly. They have to go around the sun and they have to be a certain size, and the sun has to be a certain size, and all that.
Can you be more specific
For
when you
life as
say
we know
have
it.
to? Because, I mean, a lot of things about the way we observe the universe are just describing the way we've noticed it does in fact behave. Like the planets don't just happen to orbit around a star. They do that because patterns emerge based on gravitational forces. If things turned out differently, then we would just describe that way that they happen to be, and we'd still find that amazing.
Well, I guess the order that the scientists can depend upon when they try to observe defined planets in other solar systems, for example, they depend on that order. A planet, going around the sun or the star.
Well, that's more or less how gravity works,
certain size criteria to determine whether there's, according to the size of the sun, the planet has to meet a certain size criteria to have life on it. I really don't want to go there too much.
These are all
I wanted to
guesses,
talk about
educated
if
guesses.
we're the only planet with, let's just say 13.8 million, bear with me a little bit on that, then doesn't that by virtue of the sheer enormity of the universe show that we're special?
We don't know. We have one data point, and there may be billions of data points that we just don't know.
Right.
So the proper answer is that we don't know.
So I'm a software engineer, and right now I'm basically writing a program in my head that just randomly lights up pixels on my screen in different colors. It can be completely random, and I can hit the button and it will go. And when I arrive at that combination of pixels, I can say, anybody else running this program, it would be incredibly unlikely that they would get this same combination of pixels. So this combination is super unlikely and must be special. But the fact that it's rare doesn't automatically make it special or unique in a way, because so it takes a little more than that to say that something is naturally special or planned.
Well, I guess we can agree to disagree. It just seems like when you have, even with 7 billion people that are on our planet, and we're the only life that we know of for millions of miles around, that by virtue of itself would make it pretty remarkable. It would make us, in my understanding, would make us special.
Well, like I said
we're special
earlier,
within that radius, for sure. But we don't know beyond that radius.
I wanted to talk about one more thing, if I could, on that. And you guys just kick me off. I can get kind of long-winded sometimes. I am a preacher.
Goes with the territory. I can get long-winded too.
Well, Don, you did prepare about a week for the that 15-minute message there. So you kind of preachers do that, about a week. I wanted to talk about we're no different than any other species. Are you sure about that?
Well, we're no different than, how do I say this right? We have a unique constellation of things that are true.
Niche,
we're unique-ish. The cheetah is unique in its own way, and the giraffe is unique in its own way, and the slime molds is unique in its own way, and so everything's unique.
Right, like combinations of pixels.
I can't help but think of special comes to mind when you think about how how evolution thought thinks that we have evolved from primates. It seems to me that the things that we can do, and I know you've heard this before, and it just popped out of my pen when I was writing it when you said it, is I don't see any primates flying around in airplanes or singing music or doing the things that man can do. We just watched a movie that showed it, the Hidden Figures movie, where it showed
great
man
movie.
going into orbit, John Glenn orbiting the planet. Doesn't that make us special? I mean, doing the things that we can do certainly should make us identify us as special.
Well,
sorry. Emo Phillips had a comedy routine that I really liked, among many. He said, I used to think that the brain was the most fascinating part of the body. And then I realized, well, look what's telling me that.
So I mean, on that one, but time forbids me.
Right. So we're super interesting to ourselves. And I think that I think that there's good reason for that, and it's fair to say that I mean the fact that we're here is incredibly fascinating to us. Has anyone ever told you Douglas Adams' puddle analogy?
I think I've heard of it, but I don't think I've ever heard it.
He said, like, it's sort of like if you were a puddle of water and you looked around and said, oh, this hole I've made is perfectly shaped to fit all around me just perfectly, so it must have been designed to have me in it. But it's like, after the fact, if the water is shaped to the hole, that is a property of the water working to fill in the spaces around it, and it's not necessarily an indication of some kind of design or purpose to the hole that it wound up in.
I guess we just marvel at the capabilities that the water does have.
Yeah, well, I mean, what? I don't. I mean, when I notice a puddle on the street, I don't usually say, hey, this is an amazing puddle. I think that like learning about the properties of water is interesting, but I don't think that this needs to be the process of design. It's just emergent properties.
So
it seems to me that those emergent property things kind of fall apart a little bit when you get into just the fact that the water does have a purpose.
Well, you'll have to demonstrate that first. You're going about it the wrong way.
Oh, explain to me why then.
Huh?
Capital P purpose, as in God put it there to, blah, blah, blah?
Well, the water has a purpose, right?
No. It's a collection of molecules.
With no purpose?
With no purpose.
Nope.
No.
To give water to the earth so the seeds can grow and
no, I mean,
food.
that happens.
We don't see that.
You understand what atheist means, right? I mean, you get that we don't believe that there's somebody giving people purpose. It's fine if you want to convince us that there is, but just saying that there's a purpose doesn't wind up convincing us.
Right. I understand. I understand that. Well, I guess sort of. I guess if I understood it the way that you'd like, I would be an atheist, right?
Well, no, because I think it's possible to explain somebody else's point of view and make a fair job of it and still not be convinced by it. I mean, I think I understand Christianity pretty well, but that doesn't mean that I think it's likely to be true.
Were you ever a follower of Christ?
No, I was raised a secular Jew. But I've hung out with a lot of Christians and had them tell me what they think.
I know you guys have. Well, that kind of takes me to my next question. Do I have time for that, or do I need to call back some other time?
Before we move on, I'd like to go back to a point you made. You said that we were the only species that went into space or went to the moon. I forget exactly what example you gave. Can you remind? Fly an airplane. So
write a novel, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. So for any of those things, were we special before that happened?
Well, certainly.
Okay, then it's not that distinction then that makes us special, right?
Well, I don't think we can ignore the distinction.
No, I mean, it's pretty interesting. I watched a show last night on feline evolution and the different varieties of cats and things. And one of these cats was quite large, and he could climb straight up a tree. And I can't do that, and I don't know any human that can do that, at least with the agility of this animal. And so, yeah, I mean, that's pretty special, right?
Sure.
Okay. Well,
I would say that all of God's creation is special, but men seem to be more unique and have more special characteristics.
So they're all special, but some are.
They are feared. Men generally are feared by every species of animal, most every species.
To me, that just sounds like ego talking. I mean.
Okay, so you want to move on to your other point, sir? You want to move on to your other point?
Well, Yeah,
I don't
we'll
wanna
take a
up
couple more
anybody else's
minutes.
Time, so
Okay.
I did want to talk about atheism being a worldview, but I'll have to pass on that one, I guess, unless you guys think it's okay if I...
Try again next week. I don't want to say. I mean, you're certainly welcome to call back, but we'll move on for now. And thanks for your call.
I don't know when I'll get another chance. That's why I wanted to try to hit it. So anyway, nice talking to you guys. I'll hope to talk to you later.
All right, talk
you,
to you
Tom.
next time, Tom.
Yep.
Mark in New Jersey.
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
Hi. So I'm a atheist. First time caller, long time watcher.
Thanks for watching.
So yeah, no problem. Thanks for putting this content out there. It really helped me through my journey in atheism. So I'm gonna get to it. So I'm an atheist, but my girlfriend is a Muslim, right? So she sometimes accuses me of not how do I say it, not fully not sacrificing enough for her because I don't partake in Ramadan with her. I didn't give up pork for her. What else? What else? I don't pray. Other things. Yeah, so she says that I don't really sacrifice enough for her in that aspect.
It sounds to me
How
like
long?
like she's muddied the waters between her religious beliefs and her maybe need for affection or approval or whatever from you. And I think it'd be wise for you guys to separate those issues.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not like a religious expert, or a relationship expert or
Right?
psychologist.
We're not
or anything,
marriage counselors here.
but those sound a little like red flags to me in any relationship, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you. And I was thinking that I didn't know how to say it. I didn't know how to put that into words.
What?
So yeah.
Have you got a smoke detector that's making noise?
Yeah, that chirping is pretty bad.
Yeah, if you could step away from it somehow, that would be great. How long have you been with this lady?
We close to a year.
Okay. You know, I advise you to spend some time and talk about your beliefs and lack of beliefs and your attitudes about things like children and money and family and these sorts of things, and get a lot of that out on the table. That would be my advice to you, because you may just be having the tip of the iceberg sort of thing here as far as some of the differences that you have. I'm not advising you to leave her or anything. I think a mixed marriage can work and a mixed relationship can work, but it takes good communication, and even if you can, maybe get a therapist involved and just talk through some of these things, and you will be, I think, on a little healthier plane and be able to be, it's important to be kind of honest with each other and sort of understand each other, where you're coming from, these sorts of things. So anyway, spend some time and do that work, because the worst thing that can come of it is you're going to have a stronger relationship that's on more solid ground, right?
Well, that's one of the better things that could come out of it.
Yeah.
We don't want to sugarcoat it. I mean, not all relationships work out. And I know it's hard to see that when you're in the middle of a relationship that most of the time seems pretty good. But in a lot of cases, it's possible that if your girlfriend is expressing constant discontent about or confusing your lack of belief in her religion with you not loving and caring for her, then that's something that you guys need to talk about and set boundaries for. Because it's like, I mean, I kind of like opera, but let's say that you're a couple where one of the people involved likes opera and the other doesn't. So we're taking it completely away from the volatile realm of religion. And the opera lover says, hey, you should come to the opera with me all the time. And then if the other person says no, they say, I can't believe that you won't do this thing for me. It must mean that you don't really love me. Like, if the non-opera lover caves in and goes to the opera, if they do it a couple times to make their partner feel better, then that's one thing. But if they completely change everything and feel obligated to do this activity that they don't really enjoy all the time, that's kind of manipulative on the part of the other person. It is upending like a personal preference or disregarding what your boundaries are. And I think that this is an important conversation for all couples to have, because you should be willing to say what you're willing to do for the other person. And if your points of view don't match on what's acceptable behavior for you to both remain individuals, then maybe this is not a good match.
I understand that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark. We're gonna let you go if that's all right.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Good luck to you.
Good luck. Yeah.
Thanks for taking the call, guys. See you.
All right. Good luck, man.
All
Okay,
right.
Bye.
Yeah. Those conversations can be hard to have. I don't envy him, but they're worth having.
Yeah, we get a lot of calls and a lot of emails about, hey, my family thing is dysfunctional, or I've got a relationship problem, and it's like, it's not really our wheelhouse. We're just kind of volunteers. We've had some life experience that may be relevant, but we're not experts in these fields. So,
Absolutely not. Let's see. Timo in California.
Yep, that's me.
What's up?
Oh man, I've actually been trying to call you guys a long time, so I'm actually kind of excited to talk to you guys.
well, great.
Yeah. So, I just had a really quick question for you guys. Just to give you guys a little background. I grew up a Christian, but I'm getting to a point where Christianity, the Bible, is not really making a whole lot of sense to me now. So my main question to you guys is, by the way, were you guys Christian?
Not me.
Neither one of us were, but many of our co-hosts have been. In fact, I think all of the others have been.
Not Martin, but
Not
he
Martin.
hasn't been on for a while.
Okay.
Yeah. So my question really is, I'm trying to be more atheist now because I'm seeing a whole lot of inconsistencies with Christianity, and so I'm kind of struggling. Like, how do I get past the whole Christian thing? Because I think for me now, Christianity is more of a habit rather than an actual,
Well, yeah, there's a big cultural component to it, and if you're part of a Christian community, there's the church and the family things and all this other stuff, and it may be that what you're doing now is kind of coming at it from an intellectual standpoint and looking at the claims and looking at whether the Bible, is truthful, these sorts of things, and whether you can trust the religious dogma, these sorts of questions, and that's really sort of a very small part of the religion as a whole, right? The whole religious trappings is a big thing, and is kind of pervasive in our culture, and may be a big part of your life. I'm guessing, I don't know, but for a lot of folks, it is.
Actually, that actually makes a lot of sense because I'm actually Filipino, and religion does play a pretty big part of Filipino culture.
Catholicism?
Yeah, mostly Catholicism. And I'd say a good 90-95% of Filipinos are Catholic. So
Yeah.
I do have that cultural, what you call it?
Yeah, and what you may need to do is sort of set that all aside for a while, and just sort of go with the flow on that side. Come to what you believe and about the world, and come to your skepticism sort of independently of that, and then go back and say, well, given that I don't believe this now, what does this mean? Well, it may mean that you'll still go to church with your family, or you'll still partake in some of the religious rituals like prayer before meals or something like that. And you're going to have to find some boundaries there, but you're going to have to figure out where you are first. Is my advice to you?
Okay, yeah, that makes pretty good sense.
Are you? I mean, are you out to the people around you? Like, do they know that you're having these doubts, or are you kind of hiding it?
I think as of now, it wouldn't be a very good idea for me to actually be open about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with you, because what's going to happen is they're gonna sort of dogpile on you and try to suck you back in, and I think you need the space to think this through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, that can be hard in itself, because, having a major difference in point of view from the people around you and not being able to talk about it can be kind
Isolating,
of tiring.
Yeah.
And and also it can kind of make you feel socially isolated from people, and that's not good, because social connection with people is itself an important part of many people's lives.
Do you have a skeptical or atheist community you can reach out to and be part of?
Actually, I've never actually looked in my town. I haven't actually looked, so maybe we might have something in Milpitas. Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know what part of California you're in, but there are a lot of groups
Near the LA area, is that right?
Yeah.
No, I'm actually right in the middle of Silicon Valley.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Okay.
and techie geeks are super skeptical.
Yeah.
So I would be surprised if there was not something in the San Jose area.
Maybe I can go into. Maybe I should go to like Sunnyvale. They might have a little more, that stuff. But
Yeah, and
Milpitas, not so much.
another thing I'd recommend is checking out the Recovering from Religion organization, RFR. Just Google them and see what you come up with, and maybe there are some people that you can connect with or talk to.
Okay.
And I know this doesn't really answer the question of, like, how could I be a better skeptic, or how do I get better at atheisting, but I mean, I feel like once you start to feel doubts and get interested in exploring the issues with religion, you just kind of naturally wind up going down a path most of the time that drifts you away from religion, because a lot of religious beliefs rely on keeping sort of a closed system of information around them and avoiding questioning. So I don't really think that's the problem. I think that making sure that you still have caring people in your life is maybe the most important thing that should be on your mind.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's just it's quite a challenge though, because a part of me does know that about the inconsistencies of religion, but then there's the other part that kind of doesn't want to give up on it. Because I spent like 20-something years in Christianity.
Sure. It'll have its hooks in you for a while.
Right.
We've gotten calls from 60-year-olds that still fear hell, and it's just kind of sad.
Wow.
So it depends on your level of indoctrination, but reach out, become part of a larger community. Reach out. A big function that atheist groups serve is the social part of it. It's very important to have other folks where you can let your hair down and say, hey, gosh, this thing, look at what happened to me today, sort of thing. And gosh, it's nice to have those conversations. You feel like you're among friends.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Good luck,
that's
man.
pretty good advice. I've never thought about that before.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'll definitely go ahead and check out. I'll check things out and see what's out there.
All right, great.
Good luck. I think you got a lot of resources in your area, so you're in good shape.
Good luck.
And and yeah, I want to thank you guys for taking my call. I've actually been watching your show for a long time, so keep up the good work and just keep going at it.
Thank you very much. We will.
All right. Good luck to you.
Bye.
Thanks, man. Bye.
Let's see. Edward, Nebraska.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Hi, what's up?
How you guys doing?
Just
Well,
fine.
I've just been hearing a lot. Just fine. Yeah, I'm just over here. It's pretty humid over here where I'm at right now. But anyways, I'm an atheist myself, and it's just kind of funny how us atheists could tell Christianity, a lot of these Christians, more about their religion than what they could tell us. You know what I mean? Which makes me laugh every time I talk to one.
In some cases, yeah.
Yes, it is very common. And there was a study not too long ago where they were judging the sort of knowledge of the Bible among different faiths and things, and the atheists did pretty well.
Yeah, because in a lot of cases, Christians don't really read the Bible. Not that I think you necessarily need to, but I mean, they do get it filtered a lot through what their pastors are saying, or let's say the Little Golden Book version, where the story of Noah's Ark is just about fluffy animals and rainbows, and they kind of gloss over the part where millions of people die. Right. So...
Well, the thing is, too, is that a lot of these people tell me that they don't believe in zombies, but then again, they want to believe Jesus came back after 3 days. You know what I mean?
Right.
What was he when he came back for 3 days? Was he a zombie himself?
Oh, well, right.
You know what I mean?
Technically, that's right. So keep in mind that a lot of these folks have been brought up in this, and they've never really spent the time to think about it, right? And it's sort of part of their culture, part of their cultural upbringing, and they haven't ever took it out and looked at it from afar. And so they may not have, really given it any sort of thought or criticism. And so I think that's what the type of thing you're seeing there.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny how the difference is. The only thing that they got behind them is faith, and what we got is fact. So that's kind of a big difference right there. All they got is faith on something they don't even know that's there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I see a lot of these Christians nowadays telling me, well, if God's not real, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there, like wind. Mm-hmm. But actually with the wind, I can actually feel it when I move my hand. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, you're saying all the right things. Faith is just a good way to be wrong. Right, it's not a reliable source of finding the truth.
Yeah, it lets you be wrong with great confidence and certainty about how right you are.
Right.
Yeah, and I love hearing how you guys put down, well, not putting them down, you're just making these people look like fools, telling them more about the religion than they actually know. Like, I actually get a lot of these people telling me that they don't believe in dinosaurs, that the scientists just want to tell us what we want to hear. I'm like, how are you guys serious? Telling me this stuff? Because they're going to be making up stuff like that, pulling these fossils out of the ground, stuff like that. They're actually making that stuff up. I don't think so. You guys they don't even know what to say no more.
Yeah, well, I mean, making people look like fools is fun for sure, but it's not like the primary objective. I mean, overall, the reason for having conversations with people of different beliefs is to make sure that you understand the many and varied ways that people approach knowledge, and hopefully help people get a firmer footing on believing things for the right reasons, because that makes them less likely to make wrong and dangerous decisions of things outside, what magic person outside the universe is influencing your thoughts all the time. I mean,
ultimately the goal is to make the world a better place.
Right.
So we want to try to have
hope that doesn't sound pompous.
More people, reasoning better is a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, the thing is too is that every time I try to have these I guess you want to say like legit arguments with these type of people. A lot of them start getting heated when I'm just trying to state facts to them. And I'm more of the calm one. And no one starts stating facts, telling me I'm dumb and stuff like that because I don't believe in something I've never seen.
Right.
And these people are supposed to be Christian. You know what I mean?
Well, what you're seeing is emotional defense strategies. You're seeing the kind of psychology at work here, where they may not have a good reason. They may have just realized they don't have a good reason, and so they have to blow some smoke or something to sort of look better, right?
Right. Of course, if people are reacting to you like that all the time, I mean, there could be multiple issues going on. It could be that you just know an especially unreasonable group of people who are more likely to get angry and defensive.
Right.
It could also have something to do with your approach. I mean, I am not trying to blame the victim or anything, but if you watch like Anthony Magnabosco doing his street epistemology, he has a really gentle, polite way of approaching other people that works for him because it sucks people into the conversation, and a lot of times he gets discussions that are very polite and respectful. Whereas on this show, sometimes we approach things a different way and tend to be a little more combative and sometimes have to hang up on people.
Right. We have a kind of a terse interaction. Another really good approach is humor.
Yeah.
If you can kind of find the humor in something, and because humor it gets under the radar a lot easier than a lot of the sort of argumentation does.
Right. But if you find that conversations aren't going the way you want them to go in general, there's always the chance that you could take some more thoughts to how you're talking to people and see if you want to try something different.
Yeah, try out different styles and things.
Unless they're Nazis, and then you punch them.
No, don't go there, Russell. Don't go there.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, and then I get some other Christians too telling me that I guess they don't want to look like fools, and they want to tell me because the world's supposed to be 6,000 years old, and their version of how the world was made, it's supposed to be 6,000 years old. A lot of them want to tell me that the dinosaurs lived in the past 1,000 years, not millions of years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So many of these things are just laughable, and the best response is just to laugh at them.
Right. Yeah, that's what I do now. And a lot of these arguments, and a lot of it was at work, and stuff like that, because a lot of them are Christians and stuff like that. I don't really get into arguments with them no more because they're just telling me foolish things, and they know they're making themselves look like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The work thing is a little tricky because you don't want to sort of poison your work environment with confrontation that is maybe unrelated to work.
Right.
Even if you're right, even if you take the moral high ground, sometimes it's best to avoid religious discussions at work. But that's just my personal advice to you, not any sort of law or anything.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, right. And I see what you mean, because at first it kind of caused a lot of tension and stuff like that, but now we just kind of laugh about it now. But before, when the first conversation came up, that I was what I was, and it kind of caused a lot of tension, but now it's pretty, make jokes out of it now.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, cool.
And one more thing is, don't expect that you can change people's mind in a conversation. These people, have been brought up this way, and they sort of consider that part of their identity. And I think that if you have the expectation that you're planting seeds of doubt and, getting people to think a little bit, that is the goal, maybe, and to sort of have a productive conversation in terms of, hey, this doesn't make sense to me or whatever, and at least get down to the facts on a particular issue. I think that's productive. Sometimes these arguments, they're just headbutting and it doesn't go anywhere, and then it gets frustrating after a while.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks for calling.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, Edward, take care.
See you later.
Oh, you guys too. All right, bye-bye.
And John in Florida. Hello, John. You're on the air.
I think you have the wrong name.
Wait.
Adam. No.
Did I hit the wrong button?
Might have.
Oh, nope. Yeah, lost John. I don't know if he hung up or I did. Sorry. Feel free to call back if you want. Adam in New Jersey.
Hey there, am I on the line?
You are.
Coming through?
What's up?
Hey, I'm a theist.
Oh,
I
okay.
noticed you get a lot of atheists.
Do you want a parade?
Yeah, hey. No, I just want to talk to you guys.
Okay.
What's up?
Let me just introduce where I'm coming from, just really briefly. I used to be an atheist.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a very strong atheist, big fan of the show and everything.
Okay.
I even have like digital portraits of Matt that I've made myself on my iPad.
Okay, that's weird.
So it's weird. It's weird, but I'm like, I used to do like some art, but here we go.
Okay.
So, God.
I'm just kidding. We
Big
love our
G.
fans.
All right. Here we go. So, big G, little g.
Yes.
We got big G and we got little g. So, I'm going to define God that I believe in, little g or big G. So, let's see. How do we get started on this? Okay. So, I'm going to define God, little g, as in God is whatever is most important to you that you worship.
Okay.
And you worship something that's whatever it is that is most important to you, you're worshiping it. So
Okay,
that's God.
so
From your perspective.
you're defining God in a non-standard way, right? In a way that sort
Yeah.
of is muddying the waters. Why not just talk about the most important thing to you? Because we've got a name for that already, right? Or we got a set of words that describes that pretty well.
Sure, but that's little g. Well, anything you can say in that realm is going to be God with a lowercase g.
Okay.
So
suppose I'm a guy who really likes donuts. All right? And what you're saying is God is a donut then to you.
From your perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, from my perspective.
What
really
does
love donuts.
saying that buy you? How does it tell you anything different about donuts than stuff you already knew before?
It just means you think they're like the most important thing to you, and like nothing else. Like you'd kill for a donut.
All right.
You'd die for a donut.
So
you know?
can I like just walk up to somebody on the street and be like, "Hey, did you know God is donuts?" I mean,
No. From their perspective, God will be something different.
Okay, so
Yeah.
So God is not a guy. He's not like the creator of the universe. He's not anything specific. He's just a label that you slap on anything that feels important.
I think
to
we
you.
need to hold out for the capital G version here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, capital G.
I mean,
Here we
this
go.
doesn't. This seems not so much like any kind of religious insight, and more like just a new way you've discovered of playing with words. Stop me if I'm
Sure.
wrong.
okay. So
Sure. Well,
that's
I
where
mean,
we are
little
now. So,
G's,
okay.
Little G's are lowercase G's are all playing with words.
Okay,
Like Christianity.
so why do we
basically
care?
Still playing with words.
Okay.
All
So
right.
let's get on to the
Because-
meat of it.
Yeah, big G.
Okay.
So
Okay.
big G. Let's start with big. Let's start taking apart big G here.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So like we said, God could be donuts, right?
Yeah.
From your perspective, if you say you worship donuts,
Uh huh.
right? But let's say you worship a little more than that. Let's say you worship.
Donut,
Let's start with
donuts and croissants.
Forget donuts. Forget baked
I
goods for a
object,
second.
heretic. It's donuts or nothing.
Let's get out of the bakery for a second. Now I'm looking out my window
Uh huh.
and I see a tree, and I see 2 trees or 3 trees or a lot of things in my field of vision. So
Yep.
let's say, and fully appreciating what I'm seeing before me, I'm saying God is an omnipresent thing, is everywhere and within everything.
Okay.
So when I look at the trees in front of me, I'm looking at a manifestation of God, big G.
Or donuts.
Right.
Right. But if you think about it a little deeper or bigger, deeper and bigger. So God is not the tree. God is better understood as the forest, more understood as, the continent where the forest is planting.
So God is
is,
God
you
God
know,
is the universe. right?
Yeah.
So
Basically,
awesome. We
reality.
already have a great word for that already.
Universe.
Yeah.
Sure.
So what benefit is there to muddy the waters and call it God?
The
benefit.
fact
here's the
that
thing.
you've labeled it as God, does that make it like sentient or intelligent in some way?
Well, sort of, yeah. Because if
how
God
so?
is everywhere, if God is everywhere, He's also within us. So I'm
So part of the universe
So
thinks,
you're
so
God.
the God thinks. Got it.
What was
Part
that you
of-
were saying
part
about
of
feeling
a
special
sentient part
earlier?
of God.
Right.
Here. Yeah. So I'm a
Uh-huh.
sentient part of God. I'm not the whole thing,
Okay.
but I'm a
Okay.
part of it.
So-
I'm a sentient part of God.
So, in other words, God Himself is not sentient or has any agency. He just contains things that have its agency and intelligence.
It might be a better word.
Right. It.
Hey,
yes.
yeah, it.
So if you take a person and put him in a like a crate, does the crate? Are you saying the crate is now intelligent?
Well, I'm not sure where you're going with that. But
I'm
wherever
just
in
trying
the
to get my head around this idea that you're calling God intelligent because God is just all things, and that includes people.
includes
Like
intelligent
that
things, yeah.
again. That doesn't seem to be insightful or interesting in any way. It just means you've applied labels in a non-standard way, and people do that all the time. So again,
Okay.
so what?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing, because I understand it as a kind of a tautology. So
Uh-huh.
it's just like equating God, little g as in like a small part, or big G as in the whole of the universe. So if you're equating God with these things, it's just, here's the thing. It's like you can see the religions as sort of like temples to different parts of God. Like,
So some of them are still full of shit, right? Like they're actually wrong.
yeah,
Okay, I mean,
sure.
taking a
it's
specific thing,
morally
God
wrong.
hates gay people. Are you okay with that religious statement, and are they just worshiping a particular part of God?
Here's the thing. If God is the universe, universe includes hate, universe includes love.
Okay.
So from a person's perspective, if they hate gay people and they think God hates gay people because, of their religion, you'll see that, I hope you can see where I'm going with this.
No.
Because from their perspective, their God, like their limited perspective or whatever perspective, it's just a perspective, they're looking at God, at the world through their God-colored glasses, and their God hates gay people.
Yeah.
So
they're
that's from
projecting
their
themselves
perspective.
onto God. Right. Got it.
So we already know that there are people who hate gay people and are projecting that onto an imaginary concept that we've come up with. But again, and I'm going to keep harping on this, what has this thing, what has slapping these labels on things,
what is it?
What new information has this provided that we weren't already saying before?
It's a new perspective.
No, it's not.
Like a larger perspective.
No, I mean, I'm
maybe it's not
only
new,
hearing
but
you
it's a
apply
larger
different
one.
words to things that they don't usually mean.
Look up pantheism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty similar to this
I'm
idea.
basically a pantheist.
Okay.
Yeah. But more than a pantheist, it's like you can think of, big G as a full pantheism. But you can dive down into the world from the universe, and you're just basically you're appreciating little g's. So like Hindus, you might they have a concept called Brahma,
Can
which
I
is the source of.
Can I still appreciate donuts without calling them God?
Atheists can
Sure.
appreciate the
Not
universe
important
just
to you.
fine.
If
We have a sense of awe and wonder, and
If I'm eating a delicious donut and then I start calling it God, does that make it more delicious now?
yeah,
If you start calling it God, not necessarily,
Sorry
but
to
if
interrupt.
you're attaching with it the kind of huge appreciation for that donut as if it was like a divine entity, then maybe
If you say so. Whatever
Yeah,
turns you on.
maybe.
Man.
Okay.
What were
So
you-
another thing, when you go to the standard religions, though,
Yep.
here's another thing. I like to think of Christianity understood in this sense. Like, instead of looking at Christianity as in, like, you sort of get a metaphysical sense of it, it's like you think of a big bearded guy in the sky. No. Let's say we narrow it down. Like, you hear Christians saying God is love, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if that love is not like the word love or how we understand love, but the manifestation of love? So for a Christian who understands God in
I
this
just
way,
still don't see what this buys us, right?
well, it would mean you might stop if you bought into this. If you bought into this, you might stop harping on the rationality of God.
You know, from my
Yeah.
perspective, the thing that I really sort of dislike about God concepts is this idea of a personal God that interacts with you and that you can trade with, and who has everything, but seems to need you to go screw over the Jews or persecute the gays or whatever, because this God, is omnipotent and omniscient, but just needs you to do that for him. And it's this sort of God that is going to trade with somebody for some sort of perpetual orgasm, and who cares who gets harmed in the process. This is the sort of God that I really detest.
Like a dangerous kind of violent God.
Well, or the mindset that thinks that they're going to get something by screwing over their fellow man.
Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate that some people think of God in that way. And,
Yeah, but I mean, I also think it's unfortunate that the concept of God seems to be so important to some people that they have to twist around and shoehorn the idea into everything they see for no particular reason, when it's not that useful a concept at all.
well,
So
yeah, they can do that with little g's.
they
But
can,
the closer
yes.
they can do that. I can do that too. But
Okay.
we're all capable of it. But the closer you get to when you sort of think about it in lowercase g, uppercase g kind of fashion, the closer you get to the uppercase G as you zoom out, sort of, that kind of violence kind of doesn't really make sense to do.
All right. I think we're going to move on. So
all right.
Thanks for your call,
Adam.
Oh, hold on.
See ya. Where were we? 23. Sorry, I'm trying to do math on how long people have been on. Okay, Leonardo in Florida.
Yes.
Hi.
Hey, first time. I've been trying to call you guys for a long time. First of all, sorry for my accent. I'm a Brazilian. Living in Florida for 17 years already.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I'm very excited to be calling you guys. And my question is, I have a couple questions. I have a neighbor, in my community. I'm pretty much I feel like the only atheist, and my son have a lot of, his friends that, he plays, and they're Christians and Jewish. And, sometimes I feel like my son, he's been treated different because, he doesn't actually question people, and he's scared to actually keep questioning other people's beliefs, because I think he gets scared of being discriminated for it. So
how old is your son?
He's about 10 years old now. He'll be 11 next year. Yeah.
Russell,
So-
I think this is pretty relevant to your experience, right?
Yeah. So that's the thing. The reason for the call, it's more for ask an advice, and In Brazil, I was I'm a biologist in Brazil, and here I'm a scrub tech. I work for a hair doctor, and I'm being raised by a atheist father and a Christian mother.
Yeah.
And
so,
yes.
I'm hoping your son is sort of aware that there are different religious beliefs out there, and different people have sort of different beliefs, and they kind of come at things different way. And some of the beliefs, encourage people to try to convert others, and other beliefs, maybe more private. Some people believe very passionately, and some people are questioning. I hope your son is aware of the sort of gamut of possibilities out there, right?
Yes, he is very aware of it, and he was asking me about the Pledge of Allegiance at school. So, what do you guys think?
We don't like it terribly much.
Yeah, I think even taking out the under God part, which was added in the 50s. Even without that, there's something kind of a little bit weird and creepy about pledging allegiance to a state in general. I've been an American all my life, and there are a lot of things that I appreciate about the country, and I'm happy to live here. But saying something that amounts to blind loyalty, no matter who the dear leader is a little strange. And unsettling sometimes.
It's like a religion. Nationalism is very much like religion, right? You still with us, Leonardo?
Oh, we lost him. Yeah, but I mean, there's plenty more we could probably say on this topic.
Right. Well, if his kid is questioning other folks about their beliefs, he may need to be aware that he's, potentially walking in a field of mines. that 20, 30 years ago, religion used to be a topic of not a polite topic of conversation, because people often disagreed and had different views and these sorts of things. And might be best to avoid those topics, even though he may be very curious about them, just for the sake of keeping peace with friends and neighbors.
It depends on how risk averse he is. I mean, I think that is definitely good advice to the kid. That basically you don't have to argue with people all the time,
or plumb the depths of what the beliefs are, or these sorts of things, right?
I mean, the 10 years old means almost in middle school / junior high school, whatever they call it in your part of the country, and that is a rough time for a lot of young people, and they are just looking for any excuse to divide people up into categories and subdivisions.
Peer pressure is very important at that age, right?
Yeah. If you step back and look at the bigger picture, it's not that important in the long term who your friends are in junior high school, but it can be a great source of stress at the time. It's also a time when your brain's getting bigger and you're learning more about the world, and there's nothing really wrong with poking and prodding as much as you feel comfortable with in order to feel out your own identity. But you shouldn't feel like you're not doing your job if you're not arguing with people about their silly God beliefs all the time.
Right.
And also keep coming to your dad with questions and read things on your own, whatever makes sense at your grade level.
Make home be a safe place for conversations like that. That's always a good place.
Okay.
Let's knock him off.
Yeah. Ewan in New Zealand.
How you doing, mate?
Hello.
How's things?
Pretty good. How are you?
Not bad, thanks. Not bad. God, I've been trying to get a hold of you guys for a long time, but you guys are pretty popular. So So I called in because I wanted to ask a question. I've watched most of the videos that you guys post, and I don't see the topic of theology discussed very often. And I guess what inspired me to call in and ask this is that I'm recently having some conversations with a theologian at the university that I attend, and in doing my due diligence, I tried to look into theology and find out, what it is they do, and what the steps that they take to produce their results are, and so on. And I myself am not a theist. I'm an atheist, and I guess the problem that I have is that I can't seem to see what theology does and what the results of it are, and it seems
you're in good company.
I mean, for that matter, I'm having a hard time trying to pin down the idea of what theology means, apart from all the arguments that everybody, academics and non-academics alike, uses to justify their belief in God.
Sure, yeah.
What are you?
And sorry, and that was part of what the problem that I had is that it seems awfully like the presupposing God exists, and then carrying on the venture as so, well, it's been demonstrated, so it's all good.
It can be, but also, like, I know there are a number of atheists who were theology students or even theology professors, and I don't know this for sure, but I think I'm kind of led to conclude that theology isn't just an academic bucket for making arguments for God. It might also involve sort of the general study of what people believe and why, and the various myths and superstitions that have become entrenched in various cultures.
Yeah, I think you're better off with religious studies than theology.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. So there is this man in I forget what time he lived. I think the early 20th century, maybe late 19th century, by the name of Ambrose Bierce.
Oh yes, the Devil's Dictionary.
He wrote the Devil's Dictionary, and he defines theology as a thing of unreason altogether, an edifice of assumptions and dreams, a superstructure without a substructure. And I think that nails it quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just looked it up. It seems like an apt definition.
But you said you talked to a theologian. What did he tell you? Is his
that's a good thing to do.
Field is about.
And I quote when I say this. I pitched the question saying, well, I had a rough look up as to what theology is defined as, and there's obviously, as if you do your own search, there's thousands of definitions for it, but most of them seem to say something along the lines of the study of the divine or the study of God. And so I said, do you follow along this definition? And his response was, well, the question of whether God exists or not, because I was saying, well, if you agree to that definition, then how do we know that that God actually exists? Shouldn't that be the question we answer first before going ahead and then carrying on studying with
there you go.
With theology?
Otherwise, you're studying nothing, right?
Yeah, exactly. But the response was, well, that's not really an interesting question. The question would be, what does it mean to speak of God?
That is a good question, I guess. What does it mean?
Yeah. But then I sort of kept coming back to the point saying, well, that's nice, but shouldn't we really have established the existence of God first for that to be a meaningful question? And I guess, he wasn't really too keen on doing that.
Yeah. I'm laughing because I would have loved to have listened in on that conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I'm an atheist and I am anti-theist to some extent, but I try to do it in a respectful way. So I try to, be fair in my approach when I'm talking with either theists or in this case a theologian to try and be like, well, okay, I've done my due diligence, I've looked up and done a bit of research into what I'm talking about, or the subject matter. But when it comes to theology, either it's hugely complex and I don't get it, or I'm just not seeing where the actual validity in the venture is, other than
we're with you.
If you
we're with you on this.
Assume that God exists and therefore that makes the entire considering it is an academic discipline. It's not just a subject under philosophy of religion.
Kind of. I mean, there was an interview with Douglas Adams by David Silverman in 1999 or so that I always like to quote, where Douglas Adams was noticing that there was a big difference between the theology department members and all the other disciplines, because in all the other disciplines like history or science or anything that actually studies something, they're always arguing and looking for details and trying to nail down what they mean and why something happened. But then in theology, it winds up being considered sort of impolite or inappropriate to ask for something as simple as a definition of what you're talking about. And he said, I wondered why why religion in particular got this special pass to not have arguments against it. And I realized it's because it never would stand up to it.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Would you say that this is my personal thought on theology in general, is would you say that the reason that it's considered a discipline within academia at the moment is because it has like dread remnant leftovers from the historical prevalence of religion, and
I think
therefore
so.
Because
it's like a vestigial organ, right, that hasn't quite been excised.
Well said.
From an academia.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, because it would seem like obviously over the past hundreds or thousands of years that people did consider it a valid venture, and therefore it was steeped in any academic venture. But now, of course, we're arguably past the age of enlightenment, although that's debatable.
Of course, the problem, one of the many problems with shying away from the responsibility to define the thing that you're supposed to be studying, is that it really leaves the door open for everybody to pretty much make up what they think that thing is. You can look no further than that caller that we had like half an hour ago who was just saying, oh yeah, well, I think that God, little g, is just whatever you like the most. Sure, it could be donuts or whatever.
And that is his theology. And so one man's theology is just as good as any other because there's no grounding.
Yeah, and I think if you came up to this theology professor and said, hey, I've discovered the truth, God is donuts.
That's right.
And he said, well, that's ridiculous. No, it's not. Then you could say, well, you won't give me a definition, so why can't I go with that one? It just seems like, they want to act like this is a serious, rigorous field of study until you actually start trying to nail down anything, and then all of a sudden it's vague and
Yeah, indeed. Or a common response is to attempt to juxtapose it next to other valid fields of research and say, well, if you're going to question the validity of theology, then you're going to start questioning the validity of mathematics, which is
sorry, your discipline is not that good.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so I just struggle. I mean, I don't want to sound. I mean, obviously, it's a difficult proposition to present to someone who's obviously studied it for I don't know how many years. He's older than I am, so I can imagine he's been in the field of theology for some 10, 15 plus years.
Yeah, I think for another difference between theology and other disciplines is that if you corner somebody who's super interested in computer science data structures, for instance. That's a really complicated topic, but I'm sure that if you ask them, they will talk your ear off and try to explain it in a way that you can understand. They may not be good at it, they may be boring, but they are at least interested in making their topic understandable. If you ask a theologian, he'll start yammering on about mysteries. And I think that's a sign that they don't really understand it themselves. They're just very good at convincing other people that they do.
Yeah, indeed. And also the if you highlight the fact that that theology or the existence of God has been and is still debated over thousands of years, and we have yet to reach any sort of conclusive evidence to suggest that he does exist. My argument would be if theology hinges on the existence of God, which has not been demonstrated, isn't it sort of dishonest to then carry on as though it has been demonstrated and that the field is still a legitimate field of study? I would pitch that question to anybody who, if there are any theists or theologians out there.
No, I think you're making great points.
I'm right there with you, but unfortunately we are out of time.
Yeah, no, that's all good. Thanks. All right. Thanks for that. I'm just glad to finally get through.
We're just as puzzled as you are.
Yep.
Thank you
for calling.
All right, take
Don,
care.
any last words?
No, we're good.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Our wonderful crew, their names will pop up on the screen momentarily. And that's our show. So we will see you again in 1 week.
Some of us are going to Star of India.
Yep, Star of India right after the show. See you there. Bye. This is Russell Glasser, host of The Atheist Experience. You know, The Atheist Experience is made possible by volunteers and the generous support of viewers like you. If the promotion of positive atheist culture and separation of church and state are values that you hold, please consider contributing by becoming an ACA member or visiting our product page at evolvefish.com under the Partner tab. Thank you.